It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the program. Thank you so much for being with us. It's now time for our Conservative Future segment. We like to highlight, who are the young conservatives out there? What can we expect moving forward, the future leaders? One of those is definitely Mr. Ken Yang. He joins us. Welcome back to the program, Ken.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been a while since I've been on.
It's been too long.
Well, and it's nice that, obviously 30 is still young, but I'm still 29. I got like 1 month left of being 29.
Nice.
So.
I consider that young. Yeah, definitely, Ken. So real quick, just to kind of refresh everybody's memory, we're not here really to talk about the Family Council, but you do still work for the Family Council, and you do work for them. Do great work over there. That organization does, and you do as well. Yes,
I still work for them. But on the side, I do political consulting, work with campaigns, poke my nose into policy debates every now and then. And
nice.
I've worked for 3 presidential candidates: Governor Romney, Speaker Gingrich, and Governor Kasich, and just done a lot of stuff politically, and just trying to keep my feet in the water.
Well, I wanted to have you on to really just talk about some of the issues that you feel are relevant moving forward, whether in the state or whether nationally. I have a feeling you do have an opinion on what's been going on with the immigration debates in the last couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, I think I posted on Facebook about my own family, about legal immigration. I've talked about how illegal immigrants cheapen what my parents did, what my family's done to immigrate here. And, some liberals said, "Oh, how do you reach your keyboard from your high horse?" and I'm thinking, okay, well, tell me how fleeing communist China and then standing in line to come to America, doing the right way, getting a work visa, applying for a green card, not using your children as pawns is somehow high horse. And of course, the liberal didn't answer because that's just usually how it is. They just throw insults. And so, when I go speak to groups, I always tell people, I said, hey, don't be afraid to speak about immigration. You're not racist for supporting legal immigration. And that's the narrative the left wants to tell people that, oh, we're racist, you don't have compassion, all this other. There are over 4 million people each year trying to do it legally, while hundreds of thousands, and now, they equal millions in the U.S., they just come over the border. And it's not okay, and it's not right. It's not right for the people like my parents who, like I said, fled communist China, came to the U.S. from Taiwan. They came here, they started a business, they learned English, and they became American citizens. That's the American dream. That's the right way to do it.
Mm-hmm. So what are we, when it comes to illegal immigration, obviously that has to be stopped. But have you followed any of what Senator Tom Cotton has proposed in terms of reforming our legal immigration system at our ports of entry, and essentially moving more towards, a skill set, that you're going to have to prove that you have certain merit or skills in order to get in the country?
I have. And I am, to be honest, I am a bit skeptical of the government determining merit. I think that's a slippery slope when the government starts determining what's, okay and what's not okay. In this case, merit. And so, I'm thinking to, my dad and his, skill set. One, he doesn't know English. One, he came here to, he first started off just being in the kitchen, washing dishes, being a line cook. And so, my question is, well, what about the lower level people that want to get up to that trajectory of being, living the American dream? I think I would want to make sure to not forget about those people who, you don't need to come in as a doctor or have some fantastic skill set. Because, that's what makes our country great, that someone with nothing can come, and 10 years from now they can have everything.
Yeah, that is a really good point. I mean, we still have. I mean, the concept of the American dream is still, that you can, rise and actually be mobile and even fluid in socioeconomic, rankings and that sort of thing. Did you follow the travel ban though? I mean, in terms of setting our immigration policy, it is true that and the left doesn't like this. We get to decide who comes here. As Americans, that's what our politicians get to do. And the Supreme Court upholding Trump's travel ban on 7 countries. Of course, they call it a Muslim ban. And again, like what you said, Ken, if you somehow support a legal immigration system and being able to make these decisions, then you're somehow racist.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, look at how wonderful England and France and Belgium are with their come on in policy. Well, wait a minute. I'm sorry. They've had multiple terrorist attacks from extremist Muslim terrorists. And so there's no way to screen all these people. And, there's this database. I'm sorry. I didn't know our database included every citizen of Syria. And it doesn't. And so there's no way to screen all these people. And if they are families seeking asylum, there is a process for seeking asylum in the United States. And you go through that process like everyone else does when they're seeking asylum, when they're seeking refugee status. And the U.S. and the government will determine if you're safe, because as an American citizen, I want my government to protect me and make sure that my family's safe from people that's wanting to do the nation harm.
What about kind of back to the Mexican border thing? What about the kids? I mean, with the demagoguery. I mean, the media. Can you believe that the media was making a big deal out of a policy that's been around for a long time?
It's just ridiculous how far the liberal media has slipped. The Time magazine paper, even the dad of that daughter said, "Why are you using my daughter? That's not the real story." And even Senator Cotton had mentioned many of these people crossing the border holding a child. That's not even their child. They just have a minor and just using it as a pawn. And so I go back to what I said earlier, is that I am very glad. But also, my dad and my mom would have never used their children as pawns to try to get into the country, and then also to use their children knowing that they may be separated from them. They would have never done that. And I think that speaks volumes of the parents that my mom and dad are. And you can make your own determination of what kind of parents would use their children as pawns.
Yeah. And you're raising a great issue, and a lot of people don't want to they don't want to even go there, Ken. But I'm glad that you did.
Yep.
I mean, it's just like with the Dreamer situation, and the idea of being deported and separating your family. And I would ask that same question, but the reverse. If you're going to be deported, but your kid gets to stay, what kind of parent would not take their child with them back to wherever they go? I mean, why would you want to abandon your kids?
Yep. Yes. I mean, it's my dad consistently talks about how, when his dad, my grandfather, took his family to flee communist China, that most people didn't flee with their family. Most people, it was every man for himself. And he always talks about how he was blessed to have parents that took their kids and his spouse with them when they fled communist China, because most of the time that didn't happen, and that's kind of the way of life that my dad grew up in, is protecting your family, and it's like you said, it's a point that people don't want to talk about and makes them uneasy, but it's just fact. What type of parents uses their children as pawns? And then that's all we need to leave it at, because it's just disgusting.
Yeah. Hey, does your dad? I'm sure he does. Does he have a great appreciation for capitalism? You say fleeing communist China, and he gets to come and open a successful small business here.
Oh yeah. I mean, he definitely. I mean, and he they own the restaurant now. When they first got the restaurant, they had a landlord And no offense to landlords or anything like that. It was cumbersome to report to someone, and he saved up enough money where in the mid-'90s he got to build his own restaurant, and he's had, they've had it ever since. And so, it's the freedom to do what you want, serve who you want, and he wouldn't have it any other way.
That's awesome. That's a great story. Hey, I got another question on the immigration thing, and then we can go somewhere else. So I think it was last year or earlier in the year. You remember, Donald Trump essentially was willing to take care of the Dreamer situation, and basically, the people on the right, it was an amnesty, and he gave the Democrats everything that they were wanting, and obviously he wanted to build the wall and everything else. And the Democrats said no. And I remember thinking to myself, as disappointed as I was as somebody on the right that's like, hey, we need to reward this. It still is an issue. Okay, there are kids out there that are just kind of in limbo. And I thought, my analysis was, it seems that the Democrat Party would rather these children or stay victims so that they're able to use them for political capital rather than actually solve the problem and make their lives better.
Yeah. Twofold. One, it's frustrating that Republicans support breaking the law and support bad immigration policy just because they don't want to be demonized or called bigots or whatever. Have a backbone. Stand for legal immigration. That's what the Republican Party does. Second, these Democrats, they just want people to be victims so that they can put it in a campaign ad and try to get reelected. And this is what they're the ones that are always putting down our country. Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and those people always putting down our country. The fact that we're having this conversation about all these illegal immigrants coming over, about all these children still here, is proof that we are still the greatest country in the world. And it shouldn't even be a question. I mean, we are the greatest country in the world. But it's proof that we're the greatest country in the world because these people are flocking here because they want to live the American dream. They want that. And, it's fine to come up with a compassionate immigration policy, whether it's years on a list, some fine, some pathway to eventually some pathway to citizenship, but you just don't hand them a citizenship, but having them stand in line like everyone else does, there's nothing wrong with that. But the Democrats, they don't want to help people. They want to use people to help themselves.
Yeah, that I completely agree with that. You are certainly right on the money there. We're talking with Ken Yang. He is a young conservative, 29 years old for a little bit longer, an Arkansas Politico. Hey, Ken, do you have any other issues that are kind of on your mind that you've been wanting to discuss? I mean, you feel free to go anywhere. I'm just curious, just trying to pick your brain here.
Before I came on the show, I talked to quite a few young conservatives, Republicans, and we kind of all agree. I know we live in the Bible Belt, and there are a lot of issues, like you said, immigration, LGBT, pro-life issues. But in my generation, you have people that are still not married, like myself, and people that are married. And I think a lot of the focus is economic. Am I going to start making more money? Do I have a good paying job? Are my children going to have a good paying job? Why are taxes so high? And I think when you talk to the just regular off the street conservative millennial, they're more worried about economics. They're more worried about, in this case, their path towards the American dream. And that does weigh on my mind. I know, we don't agree on everything when it comes to, you and I don't agree on everything when it comes to Republican politics. But I think one thing that we can agree on is especially here in Arkansas, why are we studying bad tax policy? It's like studying something that you don't need to study.
You mean like the earned income tax credit?
Yes, I mean, and the thing is, people say, oh, well, so-and-so think tank said it would be better than lowering the grocery tax. I'd rather listen to the Smith family down the street who says, I need that extra income month to month, Ken, to support my family. I don't need just one big amount come April or February, or whenever they turn in their taxes early in the year. And I prefer to listen to the people on the street that will tell you. And the idea, look, honestly, if we don't even talk about the grocery tax, the idea of the government taxing food is absolutely ridiculous in itself. That's like taxing air.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because you need food to survive. Why is the government taxing something that is affecting my livelihood and the family's livelihood? And so, I mean, my thing is, I think young people want to earn a bigger income. They want to have good-paying jobs. They want to support their family because, as you know, many young people aren't getting married. And it's not that I support young people not getting married, but, I mean, you get married, that's another person. You have children, that's another person. I mean, you have to be ready. You know, back in the day, you could support a family on one income. That's no longer the case anymore. And so young people are wondering, how do I support myself, first of all? Two, if I get married, how do I support my spouse, my wife, and then my kids? And with the way the economy is going, I mean, President Trump's doing a great job with more jobs, the largest tax cut in history. But here in Arkansas, I mean, we got to start thinking about, you know, where do we cut government and promote an environment where more people can be successful. And raising taxes is not that.
Yeah, I completely agree. Hey, Ken, it's been great having you on, and I noticed you said that, you know, you're not married yet. So, ladies, if you listen to this interview, he's an eligible bachelor. You can look him up on Facebook. His name is Ken Yang. You spell it Kenyang. Hey, Ken, I appreciate you coming on, sir.
I appreciate it, Paul. I'll be glad to be on.
Let me know if that works, by the way. Let me know. Okay.
I will.
Okay.
I will.
All right, folks, we're going to take a break. Don't go anywhere. Back in a minute.
If you're like me, you believe that small business is the heart of Arkansas's economic engine, and it should be viewed that way by the politicians in Little Rock. Conduit for Commerce also believes, like you and I believe, policies that achieve less regulation and lower taxation help small business in Arkansas thrive. Other policies like small, constitutionally consistent government and reducing citizen dependency on government keeps it from growing and expanding its influence on our daily lives. Conduit for Commerce works every day to educate the general public and legislators on these important priorities in the name of Arkansas small business. By the way, contributions to Conduit for Commerce are tax deductible. Log on now to conduitforcommerce.org and click on Contact Us on the right side of the page. That's conduitforcommerce.org. Go there now and learn the facts on protecting small business in Arkansas. Russellville-based firearms manufacturer Omega are making clones of the most notable German firearms in the world. These delayed rotor-lock firearms have been and are currently used by law enforcement and military worldwide. At Omega, they manufacture their guns right here in Arkansas and produce the best reproduction in the marketplace that comes with a complete 5-year warranty. At Omega, they take firearm manufacturing seriously and offer discounts to active and retired law enforcement. Whether you're using Omega firearms to defend the public, defend your family, or for target practice, Omega has your back. For pricing, go to omega-guns.com. That's omega-guns.com.
In a world full of constituents with social media accounts, bloggers just looking to increase their page views, and a talk radio host who generally is just the worst, how are Little Rock's elite supposed to conduct business with such a lack of privacy? Introducing the 1835 Club, older and more refined than other clubs that claim discretion. The 1835 Club is for seasoned political veterans that want to conduct the highest form of aristocratic business with the public's money. Are you a schemer? Do you someday want a guaranteed flow of taxpayer money to support your business? Is it your dream to see the .gov domain at the end of your business website? Don't listen to the imitators. The 1835 Club is the place where corrupt politicians and businessmen hatch their next crony schemes. At the 1835 Club, we make lobbying safe and legal.
Ethics.
Why, of course. All business is done in an ethical manner. Just look for the sign above the door that reads, loophole. Are you tired of the Capitol Police restricting your access to the roof after a perfectly good night of drinking? The 1835 Club has libations and a perfectly good roof. Other crony clubs that promise discretion try to lure you in by advertising bars made out of aeroplanes. Well, at the 1835 Club, instead of an airplane fuselage, we've got a space shuttle. No, not a bar. We've got an actual space shuttle that makes a daily run to the moon so members of the 1835 Club can have some real privacy away from the bloggers and taxpayers. Are you an Arkansas aristocrat? Do you want to be? It's the 1835 Club, and we work tirelessly to make sure the good old boy system remains alive and well. Join today.
Disclaimer. The 1835 Club reserves the right to deny membership to anyone who has principles. Any talk of the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution must be done in jest or, at the very least, with a condescending tone. And finally, the 1835 Club will be given a 25% commission of any agreements made between politicians and the business community.
PHP Parody.
Bringing you your daily dose of truth. It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
Are checking in now with the petition drive to get the term limits on the ballot. We're checking in with Tim Jacob. Tim is back on the line. Tim, sorry we missed each other yesterday.
That's quite all right, Paul. I'm just glad to be back on the Liberty machine.
Hey, I appreciate that. So tell us, how are things going? You guys are in the final push to get enough signatures to get this thing on the ballot.
Yes, we are. We've got people working around the state, but we just need more people, more folks that are interested in restoring real term limits to this state and to the legislature. We have some folks out in Mountain View today from 10 to 8 at the Pizza Inn there, and just come by, sign our petition. We have people out at American Tiger Firearms in Maumelle. That's 9207 Maumelle Boulevard in North Little Rock. If you want a petition, it's just a little bit too late to mail it to you, but still call 501-590-8260. Leave your email address, and we'll email you a petition. And you can always go to the website, arkansastermlimits.org, and download your own petition. Please get some signatures, get it notarized, and get it back to us pronto.
So that's, I would say at this point, that because when's the deadline? When is this thing? When
we are going to be turning in next Friday morning, but we really have to count on July 4th and July 5th, make sure everything's in order. So we really have to have them back by next Tuesday.
All right, so if you want to get behind this, I think the best way, folks, at this point, you heard him say it's a little bit late to mail, so arkansastermlimits.org, arkansastermlimits.org, you just click that button on the right that says download the petition, and then you'll have to print it off, and then you take it away, take it around to your friends and family. And that's a really, really positive thing. This weekend, especially when the 4th of July activities kind of start to, gin up this weekend, and you're going to be around people at barbecues and stuff, it'd be a great opportunity to do that. And Tim, I appreciate it. We've only got about a minute left. I just want, one more time, I want you to address, why this is needed. I know there's a lot of people who are upset that this is potentially going to go back on the ballot. But at this point, I think it's a good remedy for where we are as a state. Go ahead, Tim. Last word.
Yeah, the few people that are upset are working down at the Capitol, and the rest of us wonder why we have our term limits watered down, and it's because the legislators did not trust the will of the voters. It's important. It's something everyone can do, and we want to make sure that voters are respected, and what they did in 2014 cannot stand. We need to get it back on the ballot. Let's have a fair vote with an honest ballot title. That's what we need. Please call us at 501-590-8260.
All right, that's 501-590-8260. Tim Jacob, we appreciate you being on the program. We'll talk to you again, okay?
Always appreciate you, Paul.
Yes, sir. Folks, hey, tomorrow is Johnny Cash Friday. Get your requests in. What do you want to hear? When do you want to hear it? Johnny Cash Friday. You can text me your requests, 870-275-9799. That is all the time we have for today. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of the talk radio lineup on your local affiliate, Arkansas. Be safe.